Hello and welcome to Flooring Models Kit Review Time. Today we're looking at AMP's 1/48 scale. This is the Bristol 171 Sycamore. Beautiful little helicopter. Again, we've seen it in 72nd and things like that, but actually to see it in 48 is absolutely lovely. Again, a little bit of disclaimer on this one. This is the first time I've actually looked at anything by AMP, so I haven't even looked in this box yet, so it'll be all a little bit of a surprise to me as well. As you can see, lovely little bit of box art on the front there, as you can see. Okay, some of the other bits they do, who knew? Look, there's a B2 they did there and a jet G. Okay, kit number for this one is 48010, and a little bit more around it on there, and there's the old dragonfly as well. Okay, so in the box, as I said, I haven't looked in this before, that's why I can't look in it. There we go. What we have in here, you are greeted by a small kit, because to be honest with you, this is very, very small. Actually, that feels really heavy as well. So there we go, we've got some internal parts in there like that. There is it there. It's all in one giant bag. Actually, that's quite an impressive kit. I was thinking very much limited run, but appears not. Looks very nice indeed. So, in here, we've got multiple sprues, okay. There's some lovely detail. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself here, but one sprue there. We've got another sprue, and we've got some smaller sprues. The Sycamore's classic Sycamore rotors, just like the leaf. And obviously we've got the clear part, we've got a loose part as well floating around here as well. Okay, in the bag we are also greeted by, let's move those out of the way, a very nice decal sheet with multiple markings and the instruction booklet. So, a little bit obviously about the Bristol helicopter. Classic design. Okay, and then straight on into it. So again, as you can see, different cockpit canopy configurations down in there as well. You do get a mast set and photo etch. Ah, look, there they are. They're down in there. I'm just wondering where they were. Okay, so we'll have a look at those in a moment. Anyway, down on the instructions, as you can see, so it's photo etch and the decals making up for your actual instrument panel. All the parts being sitted down into those ones. So you've got your seats, again, very detailed again for its scale, right the way through. Photo etch again for harnesses, things like that, as you might imagine, right the way through. Okay. And then we're just generally working our way right the way through the cabin and the helicopter. Obviously all the control devices being fitted down into there. And obviously we've got some of the gear going onto this one to the forward part, rear bulkhead being fitted into there for the rear cabin. And all the parts around the tail being fitted in just like that. Okay, over onto the other side, depending obviously which version you're doing in here will be depending on what type of cabin it's got with the bulged outers and various things in there. So you've got your gear being fitted down onto that one. There's the difference with those variants as well, depending which one you're doing. And obviously main gear on the other side. Some of the parts down at the back, if you're doing it stowed for the military version, I assume that's for the blades being in the folded configuration. There you go, so it doesn't take up too much room. Steps and things like that being fitted, windscreen wipers, usual bits and pieces on the outside as you might imagine on both sides. Numerous little bits of photo etch taking care of all the aerials and antennas and stuff like that being fitted down in there. Rotor head itself, so we've got some photo etch making up the parts for that one. Those being fitted on there. Looks like they're a nice slot-in fit as well. It'll be interesting to look at those in a moment. And then again, the nice thing with this kit, and it is always the problem with helicopters, is the rotors. This is a really nice one because you can have them in the folded configuration and you get the holder for it as well. So that's a welcome addition to this particular kit. Okay, again, rotors in or out depending which version you want to do. So that's just down there like that. And then we've got the different ones down in here, which this is this is one of those ones where, you know, when you look at something and you're thinking, where? Because I happen to live about 10 miles from this. And the Torbay Aircraft Museum, I'm not aware of there actually being one, and I've only lived here for the last 47 years. So yeah, we're not sure quite where that is. I'm going to be Googling this in a minute. Anyway, we've actually got one as well, Berlin markings with very nice day glow, as you can see down in here for the German markings. Again, both of those ones down in there like that. And then obviously up here we've got the Belgian one as well, which would be quite a nice one with the silver finish, okay, with the Belgian markings on there just like that. Well, lastly we've got down in here, we've got one in the rescue colours being in the yellow as well, okay, so again, really very nicely done indeed. And then last but no means least, we've got another one up here for Duxford, which we assume maybe is one of the rescue ones as well, in the very nice markings all down in there. So again, nice options as we were seeing, with a very, very nice decal sheet. So, should we have a quick look in here, because I'm intrigued by all the photo etch, because there's lots of photo etch. I don't think we quite need to, this always worries me, when they put a sticky bag in and you've got the sticky side on the decals. Okay, so let's have a look. So down in here, as you can see, actually they look very, very nice indeed. Nicely done. I don't know who does those, but they look very nicely done. Decals, good, solid colour. Carrier film looks minimal, to be honest with you, and there's lots of detail on all of these bits down in here as well. So as you can see, lots of different ones down in there. But decals look good. Okay, then we've actually got a mask set. Matt will be happy. So we've got one of these vinyl mask sets with that one. It's obviously all die cut, so no problems there. We've got this little one as well, which I assume is a mask set for the windows as well. So different versions, that's why they've done a little bit different as well. And this, which again, first look, you think it looks very, very organic, but actually when you look at it on the close-ups, you can see that actually doesn't look too bad at all. Some very nice details down in there. Again, everything you could want. You've got the nice raised bezels for the instrument panel, and obviously you've got all your harnesses and the windscreen wipers and all of those small details which would be a little bit fiddly, and they are beautifully done in a very nice piece. It looks like copper done in there as well, so that's very nice. Okay, so into the sprue bits, and again, it's really actually very nice. There's a little bit of flash and there's various sink marks all over this, as you can probably see, but when you look into the close-up, as you can probably see on this one, you've got a very nice raised and recessed system on this one. And it's pretty sharp, I have to say. The riveting looks very, very nice. The riveting is all recessed, which makes you wonder if it would be raised, but that actually works very, very well. And right the way along the tail, again, it's one of those ones on this where you're sort of looking at it thinking, you know, that is actually very, very nicely done. Very cleverly done. And again, not knowing this manufacturer too well, I've got nothing to really guide it up. So there is bits of flash, as you can see, right the way around on this, but a couple of swipes with the sanding stick will take care of that, no problem at all. So I have to say, very nice. And again, good detail, good level of detail, to be honest with you, on all of these parts. Very nice with that bulkhead, and even on the blind side, it's pretty clean, all of that. No real problems at all on any of those parts, so that's actually quite nice. Then we're moving into more of the guts of it and stuff like that, which I think we can just probably work along. Again, there is a lot of burring on this, as you can see from the actual tail rotor system, how it's got that. So it is going to need a little bit of a swipe with the sanding stick or a quick whip around with a deburring tool. And again, you have no problems with that at all. See, we've got a little bit of flash just down on this part down in here, but these are pretty straightforward and easy to take care of. You've got the reverse of the bezels on the back of the actual instrument panel, as you can see it down on there. So that's actually a very nice touch. And again, just these grills and things like that, good, clean, nicely done. No problem with any of these parts. Again, it's just a little bit of flash running around on this one. The odd little bit, you know, that just needs to be whipped off a little bit, probably just down here at the front, things like that. But nothing that's actually a pain to get rid of. It's all very straightforward areas. So again, we're good. All of these sink marks, as you can see them on the sprue, luckily it doesn't look like, and I can't see any on the actual parts. So that's actually very nicely done indeed. Into the really smaller parts of it all now. So over here on sprue D, you can see some of the finite, tiny little details, all the thin stuff. And again, luckily for us, this sprue doesn't look like it's got any flash on it. There's tiny little bits perhaps on these little guys down the back here, but generally all of these parts are pretty flash free, which is good because you don't really want to spend a lifetime cleaning out all these smaller parts. We've got the comb in here for the instrument panel, which I assume is probably off this sprue as well, so that looks very nicely done. Okay, then we've got the rotors, and again, the classic Sycamore rotors. I think that's where it gets its sort of name from really on these. And again, they've got that sort of sycamore shape to them. Wheels, again, nicely done. We've got good hubs, good detail in the hubs, right the way through, all the parts. And again, looks like the fly bars, is it, and the rotor heads, things like that on there. Very, very nicely done indeed. Again, it's all a little bit flash, but nothing that really a couple of swipes with the sanding stick literally won't take care of. Okay, last up we've got the clear parts. So this may be the make or break part. Okay. So yeah, again, that isn't too bad at all. You can probably see the clear parts are pretty clear. It's a very complex shape to try and do this down here on the front, and obviously with the cabins and stuff like that, there is definitely something going on down in here. I'm not sure if it's supposed to be clear or not. I think this is supposed to be clear, and there's definitely like a hazing and fracturing going down in here. But again, think this as more of a limited run kit. You can see it quite clearly on the inside. That's a shame, but Yeah, I don't think you're going to be actually getting rid of that anytime soon. I think that's actually part of the tooling and moulding marks into that. Generally, the actual rest of it is actually pretty clear, as you can see right the way over on this one. Top areas, not too bad at all. There is a little bit, they're a little bit thick and a bit cracked. That's cracked, not, yeah. Anyway, two types of side doors like we were saying about. You've got the flush, or you've actually got the raised. And you can see this bulged out area on this one. Okay, and on the other side, or again, you can have them more sort of flushed. And again, it's all definitely there, and they are pretty clear, no problem at all. They're a little bit thick. They're not as pin sharp as perhaps you might find on some of the AAA models out there and things like that. But for what this is, actually, I think that's very nice. There you have it. I have to say, I think that is a little gem. I say little, it's 48 scale, but it's a small helicopter. There's nothing wrong with any of that. It has got a little bit of flash on it, let's be honest. It is going to need a little bit of cleanup, but really, I think that's actually very nicely done. The plastic is quite soft, so from the injection moulding side, I think that's probably where you got a little bit of flash coming through on that one. But generally, I think for the level of detail with this beautiful recessed details all on the exterior and stuff like that, it may take your eye away from what is the sort of elephant in the room, and that is that clear part on the front not being, let's face it, clear.